on top of being one of the greatest players of all time, LeBron James is also one of the greatest Cavaliers of all time. So I wanted to bring my friend Abby Mueller onto the show and rank LeBron's eras, his best seasons, his worst seasons, put them on a tier list. But before I do that, I want to thank today's sponsor, DraftKings. Basketball fans, this season has been filled with big plays and even bigger wins. Today, I've teamed up with DraftKings, who have an offer sure to be a slam dunk. All new customers who place just a $5 bet will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Let me know who you're riding with and be sure to enter those picks on DraftKings by downloading the app and signing up using my promo code CavsBurner. If you're already signed up for DraftKings, like me, all customers can get a no sweat bet, get a bonus bet back if your same game parlay / same game parlay X bet doesn't hit. Max reward limits apply. Fan of multiple teams and you want to bet on them all? Combine multiple bets together for a shot at an even bigger payout. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, not to worry, you can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers who use my promo code CavsBurner and bet $5 will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code CavsBurner only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The Cavs, or LeBron in general, who's kind of synonymous with the Cavs, and the Cavs are kind of like the team, right? Like when LeBron retires, we're all going to talk about him being a Cleveland Cavalier. And being that I wanted to talk about the Cavs today, I mean, who else could I get would be more perfect to rank LeBron James seasons than the self-proclaimed number one LeBron James fanatic on Twitter, Abby Mueller. So Ab, thank you for coming on here. It's been a while. How's everything going in Ab / LeBron / Taylor? So you're part of a lot of fandoms. Like, you know, it's been a long year for you.
I really am. I just love being a fan of things. I feel like it's fun and enjoyable to like escape your life and just enjoy very talented people. It has been a while. I'm doing good. In the spirit of talking about LeBron, I did get to see him play in Cleveland a couple weeks ago, and started tearing up as soon as he came out for warm-up. So that's kind of, I feel like my general emotional state is crying at LeBron warming up in Rocket Mortgage.
Well, makes sense. All right. So what we're going to do today is ranking LeBron seasons. Will be a lot of fun conversations, especially the years where he's on the Cavs. So we have every season LeBron's been in. And this doesn't even include 2023 because what 2023 is still happening. This is every season from 2004. There are like, what, 14 of these seasons? 15? Is he in year 16 right now?
He's just about, because he was drafted in 2003. It's 2024, so he's in year 20 here, which is insane.
Man. All right, so let's get to ranking him. The tiers are GOAT, all-time great, really good, above average.
Nothing lower, because that doesn't exist for LeBron. Nothing lower than above average.
Nothing. All right, so 2004 LeBron James is rookie year is the first thing. Hold on. So 2004 LeBron James is rookie year is the first thing on the list here. Gab, where do you feel like this should be?
It's so hard to like my brain wants to rank these in two different ways based on like the enjoyment I got out of it or like his actual play on the court, you know, like there's kind of multiple directions you can go with it, because arguably the 2004 LeBron would be probably above average for the version of LeBron that we see, you know, in the later years and everything he improved upon. But there is something like personally that's heartwarming about his first year in Cleveland, you know, him being there. So I feel like I'll put it in above average just because of the level of play. But like, I don't know. That's tough because there's a sentimental element to it.
Here's how interesting conversations about LeBron James are. He's had 1 year under 30% 3-point percentage, And that's not something you would assume if you paid attention to like the dialogue about LeBron his entire
Really?
career. Yeah, this
What year was it? Was it his rookie year?
is his rookie year. He shot 29%.
Wow. I would have thought there would have been more below 30%.
Yeah, yeah. There's this the only season he's been below that. Just lost the page. There it is. Oh yeah, that's the only season he's been below that. He has been at best. He's been a 40% 3-point shooter in Miami on
Wow.
3 attempts. His most attempts is 8 on 36 in LA. So he took more threes later in his career, but he was always decent at those threes. Yeah, he's never been below. He's never been
Wow.
below 29 in his entire
That
career.
yeah, that definitely doesn't fit the narrative I feel like that LeBron has had throughout his career. That would be where he would probably use the hashtag but I'm not a scorer, one of his favorites,
Yeah.
to let people know that he is in fact a scorer.
We also got to tell LeBron he's using way too many emojis. Just way too many emojis. Way too many
He's such a
emojis.
dad. He's such a
Yeah.
dad. He'll never stop. He'll never stop.
Yeah. Like I could tell he tapped that phone extra hard when he uses it. Like
Oh yeah.
he definitely emoji. Hey, look at this. He be telling Savannah to look at it. Like, but yeah, this is his lowest year in 3-point shooting percentage wise and field goal percentage. He was at 41% from the field here. Believe this is also his career low in scoring average at 20.9, which is it's an insane career low.
That's a crazy rookie year. He was 18 years old. Like he was a child. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, he averaged almost 2 steals, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. So 26 and 5. I mean, like if Evan Mobley did this once, dog,
Yeah.
like for
We're
a
set.
season, oh man, we would be that's insane. LeBron James's numbers here. So he played 79 games that year. Yeah, I agree with you. This has to go above average because it is an above average year.
For
But
sure.
on LeBron standards, it doesn't really stand out the way that some
Right.
of these other seasons truly stand out. All right, let's go back to sorting by age. All right, so this next season, 2005, this is after his Olympic run on not the Redeem team. This was the Vince Carter team, right? Like the super early Team USA appearance for him. He was 47% from the field this year on 21 field goals. Woo. By the way, his 41 in his rookie year was off 19. So 21 shots, shot 47%, and was 35% from three with 4 attempts a game. So he went up there and he was pretty good at those threes. And that's kind of
Yeah.
surprising, right? Because you don't even think about him shooting threes till his second run in Cleveland.
Yeah, that looks like it
75.
was his best 3-point percentage when he was in Cleveland was that second year in the league, at least for that first portion of Cleveland from 2003 to 2010.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of, and
On 4 attempts.
then you can see kind of once he went to Miami, that's when it started to really improve. But interesting to see
It's
that
funny how we view it
mostly
too,
low
because I think a
30s.
lot of us viewed it, his 3-point shooting kind of came out of nowhere. But
Yeah.
now you look at it and you're like, oh, this absolutely did not come out of nowhere. This definitely came from somewhere. He always had
Oh
the
yeah.
ability to do it. Averaged 2.2 steals, 27 points a game, 8 free throw attempts. So he got into the foul line a lot more, and 7.5 rebounds. So pretty impressive for LeBron. I would say it's really good. Like that's a really
Yeah.
good season. Like we talked about if Evan Mobley could do that, like that's what we hope Evan Mobley could become. Like Donovan Mitchell does this, and we're like, he's really good.
Yeah.
Not
I
the
think
rebounding and assists.
the 3-point percentage improvement, I think really would put it at least a tier above that first season for sure.
Yep. And this is also his first All-Star appearance this year. He only didn't make the All-Star team one time in his NBA career so far. He's probably going to make it this year, right?
Yeah, He's
So
going to make it till the end because fan voting is always going to get
yeah,
him in there.
yeah. You say that as if you're not voting for LeBron into the All-Star game. Like,
Literally,
oh
I'm
yeah,
doing it every single day.
yeah. All right. So 2005 LeBron, like those are like the beginning years of LeBron. I think you enter a different era of LeBron here. Like once we get to 2006, like 2004, 2005, people were still having debates about LeBron or Melo. After this, it
Yeah.
just stopped happening. Like we just stopped caring about if Carmelo Anthony on some level is better than LeBron because it just was so obvious the answer was LeBron is much better. He was 21 years old at the end of this season, played 79 games, shot 48% from the field on 23 shots. So another year where the shots went up, the percentages went up, shot more threes, shot 33%, but 5 three-pointer attempts, which is really high.
Yeah.
Like,
For a
that's
third year player that wasn't supposed to be a shooter and predominantly a passer, that's pretty high.
that's pretty high for 2005.
Also that, yeah.
Yeah, like I think like they went back. Reggie Miller was only shooting like 6 a game or something, like less than 6 a game or something like that. Like 5
Right.
in 2005 is nuts. I mean, like even when you compare it, that number in 2005 is it's his highest in that era, like highest in the aughts
Right.
until 2009, where he went 5.1 3-point attempts. But then that was a precursor to LeBron starting to shoot the three. And then that really didn't manifest itself until he was in Cleveland again.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. 5
And now
in
he's
2000.
taking him in LA. In LA, he takes a lot more now too. I think because he is tired.
Yeah, there was a year in LA where he took 8 threes a game. Like that's just ridiculous. LeBron averaged 31.4. This is the first time he broke the over 30 mark, which again Carmelo's never done. So like this is the season that killed all the comps, where it's like, oh yeah, Carmelo, he's better than LeBron. No, it was over by now. This season killed that. Rebounding, 7 rebounds a game, 6 assists a game, 2 steals and a block in 30 points. I mean, not 30 points, 31.4 points. Also the Cavs' first playoff appearance. And now we have to look into the playoff log for LeBron James. Underrated playoff run here. Right? Because we always talk about the 2007 playoffs and what LeBron did in the 2007 playoffs. We never really get to talk about the first run he had in playoffs. Now, we all remember the first series was against the Washington Wizards. It's probably the peak of their franchise, by the way. LeBron James in that series averaged 35.
We're playing them tonight, aren't we?
Oh, again?
I think again tonight.
Oh, good for the Cavs.
That's funny timing.
Yeah, 35.7 points a game in his first series with the Washington Wizards. Got rid of him in 6 games. 6 assists, a block, and 7.5 rebounds. Goodness great. 51% from the field. Shots. Wow. Shot 38% from 3 on 2 shots.
Wow.
It got to the free throw line about 8 times a game, played 47 minutes. Yeah, just an absolute monster in this series against the Washington Wizards to get past him. Then he played I believe the Detroit Pistons won the championship that year, right? 2006?
2006. I think so.
Yeah, that was the 1 year Chauncey and all of them. So this is Ben Wallace, Detroit Pistons. Now this one, this was like a very defensive-oriented team.
I really hated the Pistons back then. Like, I just remember having a lot of anger towards them.
So this series went to 7 games, and I think the Cavs lost in 7. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think that last game was close. No, it was not. It was a loss by 18 points. So it was Detroit knowing what to do. This is LeBron's first playoff series, and he got eliminated by the eventual champion. 26.6 points a game, a block, 1.4 steals, 6 assists, and almost 9 rebounds. So pretty good numbers. I guess like if we're putting this on if this isn't LeBron's first playoffs, we're like, oh, that's a bad series from LeBron, right?
Right.
But given that it's his first playoff series against the eventual champion and like a historically good defense in Detroit, it's actually pretty good. Was what 44% from the field, so they did a good job defending him. So I would say the playoff run was really good. The point explosion, like this was like the first like I don't know. Would you put this in great or all time great?
I want to say great because in his game specifically, there's so much more that he develops later on. But I think the playoff run obviously has to have it a tier above the 2005 season. So I think great probably for that.
Yeah, because this isn't one of those LeBron seasons like we remember. It's like,
Right.
oh yeah, do you remember he did this? Like, but there will be seasons like the season that's upcoming where they live
Right.
forever.
Right.
LeBron James in 2007. Now the points went down, 27.3 points a game, a block, 1.6. He's always been good for like at least a steal a game in his career, which is
Mm-hmm.
funny because I don't remember any of these steals like happening like when I watch LeBron. But he's good for one a game, and usually like over one, like 1.5 to 2, and a 6 assist, 7 rebounds. So like if you just look at the straight up numbers, it's not the most impressive. But then you notice he took what 20 shots, 47% from there, 4 threes, 32%. So a little bit of a dip in his 3-point percentage as well. Like if you just look at this season statistically, you're like, well, what's the big deal? Right? Why
Right.
is this the LeBron season of LeBron seasons? Well, there was a playoff run this season.
Right.
And I think LeBron, up until this point, he's been in the playoffs every year except for 1 year in LA.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
definitely
because
didn't miss
he
him in
every other year
Miami.
in Cleveland, he did every year in Miami. Yeah, I think it was just the one in LA, which he was hurt for a
Mm.
lot of, so doesn't count.
In
I'm
in
skipping it.
2007, first series against the Wizards, swept them. By the way, 27 points, 28 points, 2 steals, 7.5 assists, 8.5 rebounds, um, on 42% shooting and then 26% shooting from three. So he did not have a great 3-point shooting
No.
series in this one, but I don't think it really
But
mattered.
almost a triple
So
double. He was up there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think he triple doubled one time well, no, he
Mm,
double doubled one time in this series.
okay.
All right. So then against the New Jersey Nets, which you would have to imagine, this was RJ, right? This is like wasn't RJ on this
Oh,
Nets team?
it probably was around that time. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
this
think you're
was a
right.
Richard Jefferson's Nets
Young
team.
Richard Jefferson.
I don't even know if he was young at that point, but he was
That's
like
true.
he was still because he got drafted in like 2000 and 2000, right? When he in the 2000 draft?
It
Nope,
would,
Richard
yeah.
Jefferson was not on this team. This is the Vince Carter
Oh.
Nets. Yes, yes, the
Mm,
Vince Carter Nets. So they had just got rid of
okay.
RJ. Oh, no, Richard's on the team. Richard's on the team. Number 24.
Oh, there
Richard's
we
on the
go.
team. My bad. Yeah, Richard's on the team. He was born in 1980. When did Richard enter the league? Richard, I can't find when 2001. Yeah, so yeah, this is
Okay, so
a
2 years
prime
before
Richard.
LeBron.
Prime RJ.
All
Let's
right.
see what LeBron did against Prime RJ, a future
Future
journeyman
teammate.
yeah, and look, they did a good job against LeBron. LeBron only had 24.7 points in this game, in this series. It's so hard, especially in the early years with LeBron, to just go strictly off of scoring percentages, though,
For
because
sure.
it was such a different era of playoff basketball where you can literally punch somebody. So, like, just saying, oh, well,
Yes.
he didn't shoot great, it's kind of like tough because it's like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
but nobody was shooting great, and you can really
Yeah.
do a lot to affect the shot there. But
Yeah.
25 points, 8 rebounds, and almost 9 assists a
Yeah.
game. Yeah, really
That's
shut him
crazy.
down.
I feel like the
Um,
assists is like the big part of that, of like that era of LeBron too, especially. He's always obviously been a great passer, but in that time when he wasn't the shooter that he became starting in Miami. Just his playmaking for that age that he was at was incredible. The way he could just facilitate for everyone else. And honestly, he was surrounded by like very mediocre players and still was able to
Yeah.
do that. So
That's what I was about to
pretty
say.
impressive.
Like,
That doesn't show up on the box score.
it's not just impressive that he got those assists. It's impressive that he was able to get good enough looks so
Yeah.
those guys could get those assists
Right.
for
Who
him.
he was assisting. Right. Yeah.
Yes. So his game against the Detroit Pistons, well, his series against Detroit, I mean, this is the one that really put LeBron in a different tier, right? In 2007, this playoff series alone, 26 points. And again, this was still like best defense in the NBA Pistons. 3 steals in this series, 9 rebounds, and 8.5 assists.
Wow.
Wow.
That's high for steals per game.
Yeah, that's 3 is crazy.
That's crazy.
And then like, here's the thing I think is crazy about his rebound numbers. He averaged a offensive rebound, which like, how did he average an offensive rebound? He was the only one shooting the ball. Like,
following his shot. That's how.
that's insane. He shot 45% from the field. He didn't really take that many threes in this series. And then we all know in game 6 in this series, he had 38 points or 48 points, and like 25 of them all came and just destroyed the Detroit Pistons after that. So yeah,
that version of LeBron was probably just able to legally drink alcohol like a couple months before. Like that's crazy that he's putting up those numbers.
He was a little bit older than that. He was 22.1. Yeah. So he had just gotten older than 21.
Year maybe.
Yes.
Not to say he wasn't drinking alcohol before, but
Bronny and Bryce were still probably not in school yet, though. Like, that's how young LeBron is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They were probably still like not school aged yet. Okay. And then they first finals appearance for LeBron James. It was so funny too, because he got such grief for only getting to the finals in his like third year. The weird narratives about LeBron like will forever continue. Now this is like his first not great series. 22 points, averaged 1 steal, a half a block, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. And then shot 35% from the field, which is legitimately bad. Took 5 threes on 20% shooting. So it was a legitimately bad series, but he was going up against the peak of his power, Spurs. I'll put this in all-time great.
Yeah. And that was a tough series. I feel like that finals really stood out to me because I feel like the city was so excited to just be in the finals, even though they got swept. It was just like, all right, we have something here. This is legit. Yeah, I would put that in an all-time great for sure.
All right. So now we're at 2007 and 2008. Now this is the first Celtics year, the Big 3 Celtics year. This was also the first year of what we would call dancing Bron, because LeBron James he started just dancing whenever he wanted to. During this era, right? 2008, 2009, 2000, his last 3 years in Cleveland, they were pretty infamous for like dancing whenever they wanted, playing foot. This is where we realized LeBron is a big man child. Like basically, like
he still is. He has not changed one bit. He's just a big kid.
Yeah, he's just a giant child, which is hilarious when you also see like how serious he is about other things in his life. 30 points a game here, a block, 2 steals, just for the whole season, 2 steals, 7 assists, 7 total rebounds, a defensive rebound, not a defensive rebound, my bad. Yeah, 8 total rebounds, and again, 2 offensive rebounds. I don't know how he was getting 2 a game. 48% from the field, was shooting the 3 pretty much, 5 times a game for 31%, which is not terrible, not awesome, but not terrible.
Right.
40 minutes a game. Obviously, he was playing a ton. Wasn't this his first MVP?
Yes, because he had, let's see. Let me look up his LeBron.
LeBron needs his own
years.
Wikipedia.
I
Yeah,
know.
2009,
2009,
10, and
9,
12.
10,
Okay.
yeah. Wow, that's crazy. They were like a couple back to back in there. And that he should have won more probably later in his career, but
Yeah, but
I
LeBron
feel like
fatigue
it
set
started
in.
getting very narrative based in a lot of ways, the award in general. Yeah, so 2009 was his first one.
Wow. 2009 was his first one. All right, so he
Yeah.
didn't win the MVP this year. I think this is a great season. Well, let's go through the playoff run because underrated playoff run here too. Because I think people like the way people have canonized the story of LeBron James, and this is why I can't wait for a documentary to come out one day.
Yeah.
Is like it's like the Celtics form and LeBron like crinkled into a ball and cried. Like that's kind of how it gets portrayed. Where it's like, no, they almost beat the Celtics that year. Like they had like a really close game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals, or no, in the second round that year. So it's like it was,
Wow.
yeah, it was not what people thought it was. 29 points again. Played the Wizards in the first round. The poor Wizards, like, like they had to play the LeBron in the first round like every year in his early run. 30 points a game against the Wizards. A steal, a block, about 8 assists, and almost 10 rebounds a game.
Wow.
So
I feel like
almost a triple double.
the Wizards are like the Raptors of the second era of LeBron in Cleveland. Like just
Yeah, they were
constantly
like the
getting
original,
the original Raptors.
but they antagonized LeBron. Like that was the thing. Like the Wizards
sure.
like actually antagonized LeBron.
Right. The Raptors were just like, honestly, we know what's about to happen. It's fine.
They were like, please relax. Please relax,
Right.
LeBron. And then this series versus the Boston Celtics went 7 games. The Cavs did lose in these 7 games. 26.7 points, a block, 2 steals, almost 8 assists again. And then 6.4 rebounds, shot 35% from the field, 23% from 3-point. So this is why the 3-point thing exists for him, is because he got froze out in a couple playoff series from 3. Let's see. Had a 45%, 45-point game 7 game. Here's the thing that's interesting about this series. Again, like the LeChoker stuff has always been hilarious. In the last 3 games in this series, the Cavs went 1-2. LeBron averaged 37 points a game in those 3 games.
God.
He had 35, 32, and 45 in game 7.
Wow.
2
He's
steals,
always been that guy.
Yeah, 6 assists. It shot 45% from the field on 26 shots. Like, yeah. The LeBron choker stuff is hilarious. Man, if he wins that series, this goes to a GOAT season, but he didn't. And unfortunately, the Cavs just didn't have enough around them to win this series. So unfortunately, I think this goes down to great.
Yeah. I think because they didn't go farther, I think you have to do great. I also just realized that going through this at the beginning, I said he's in his 20th season, but then I remembered making a joke at the beginning of the season that LeBron's career can legally drink alcohol now. So it's actually 21st season.
Are you serious?
Not 20. Yeah, that's a lot. The joke came to me when I was talking about him being able to drink in 2007. And then I was like, oh yeah, 21st season.
College, and his career is older than his son.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. All right. So 2009, this is the first MVP season of LeBron James. And like, it's weird because you're like, well, he didn't even improve off last year. How did he win the MVP? It's like, because you could just pick any of these seasons to give LeBron the MVP.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Cavs won a ton of games that year. That might have been why. I think they were the 1 seed pretty much throughout.
I feel like that's a big part of the narrative, is like how you're elevating your team, not just like personal statistics. Sometimes it is, if someone had an exceptional year, like some of the Russell Westbrook or
was
James
this the year
Harden.
Mo Williams made the playoffs? Made the All-Star game.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah. Okay. That's an
he
MVP.
He really benefited from having LeBron as a teammate.
Then came back and got a ring with LeBron as like the 13th man off the bench. He got minutes in that series in 2016. So 28 points a game for LeBron, which is ridiculous. that like, oh yeah, only 28. Like I
Yeah.
guess it's not that great for LeBron, even though it's 28 points a game. Um, Shot 48% from the field. Oh my God. Oh my God. Almost
Yeah, almost
49%.
49. That's crazy.
48.9. Oh my goodness. Basically 49% from the field. Was 34% from three on what, almost five shots, and he averaged almost two steals, seven assists, almost eight rebounds. Yeah. Yeah, this is an MVP season. Now, this was, I think, the Orlando year.
Oh, I remember that game. Because that wasn't the
Yeah, that one.
final season in Cleveland. I think that it probably was, or I remember that series, not game series, but I guess the one specific game.
Oh,
um,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like it had to be, right?
Well, this is the Dwight Howard,
Yeah.
the game-winning shot in
Oh
the
yeah.
queue,
I'll
and
never
then
forget that reaction of him turning around, just like, oh, that was great.
yeah, I remember I hated Rashard Lewis.
Mm.
He just did not miss shots at all in that series. All right, so this is a little bit different. In the first round, they played Detroit and swept them, which boy has Detroit fallen. 32 points a game in this series, including a 38-point opening and a 36-point closing game for LeBron. He averaged a double double, 11 rebounds, 7.5 assists, 32 points. I mean, I only 50% from the field. Didn't shoot great from three. So like what, 17% from three? On 4 3-point shots. Like, damn, LeBron. Like, what was going on for three back then? It was not great. So I think the whole 3-point thing was definitely a postseason thing for him, right?
Yeah.
Because these postseason 3-point numbers are not great for
Which I
LeBron,
guess makes
unfortunately.
more sense for the narrative that formed because not everyone is watching every regular season game, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of narratives on guys, even people like LeBron, do come from what they do in the
Yep.
postseason.
At some point, he missed like 8 straight threes. Like, in this series. So not a great series against him. The Atlanta Hawks, could not tell you who was on these Atlanta Hawks teams back then.
No,
Was
I
this
can
before
only
the
think
was this the
of the
Jeff
current
Teague?
Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because there was one year the Atlanta Hawks were the one seed when LeBron was in Cleveland the second time.
Mm,
And that was like the Jeff Teague, Joe Johnson, Atlanta Hawks. These, I have no clue who was on these Atlanta
yeah.
Hawks teams. Yeah, the lowest point differential they won a game by in this series was 10. They won a game by 27, 20, 15, just ridiculous stuff here.
Jeez.
LeBron shot, if you thought 50% from the field was pretty impressive, 55.6 from the field on 20 shots against the Atlanta Hawks, 34 points a game, 2.5 steals, 6 assists, 8 rebounds. So this is just an incredible playoff run by LeBron. It's funny because people look at this as like a not clutch playoff run. Eastern Conference Finals, he
Yeah.
averaged 38.5 in a 6-game series,
Wow.
and they didn't win. No wonder he left. Like,
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I mean his brain was probably already going, but that was probably like final straw. Like I gotta figure something else out.
38.5. What did he score in these games? Oh my God. 49 in game one, 35 in game two, 41 in game three, 44 in game four. That had to be the game winner, right? No, because they lost that game. The Orlando was that. I thought the game winner was in Cleveland. Okay, game five was in Cleveland, and,
Yeah, it was
and he put up
Cleveland.
37. And then in game
Wow.
six, he only put up 25. And he had like a
I
triple double,
mean,
37 point. He had 37 points in game five, 11 rebounds. Well, no, 14 rebounds. My bad. 14 rebounds. I was just reading his defensive rebounds and 12 assists.
wow.
And he was just
It's
kind of
crazy
burnt out, I
that
guess, by
that
that
was
last
like
game.
even when the narrative started then that like if LeBron didn't make it to the finals, it wasn't like it was a failed season. Like kind of like you said, how do people not talk about this one enough? It's because like for 10 years straight, like after that he went to the finals, it's like
Yeah.
it's pretty
So
crazy.
where do we rank this 2009 season for LeBron?
I feel like God, because that's such an impressive statistical performance in the playoffs. But I mean, like I just mentioned, like literally the next decade, he goes on to go to the finals every year. We have Miami coming up pretty soon. So I'm like, I hesitate to put it too high. I don't know. I'm thinking either great or all-time great.
I would put it
Somewhere.
all-time great. It's not as good as 2007, but it's on the same rail. He won an MVP.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
Did 2009 and 2010 he won it. So yeah.
oh yeah, we're gonna talk about 2010. All right.
Oh yeah.
So this is the 2010 version of LeBron. Look, this is the funnest regular season LeBron. But the postseason for this year was just not fun. Like, if you just remember, they won 60 games. Shaq was on the team. He was on the Kevin Hart special laughing. Like, this is a great regular season for the Cavs.
Right.
Postseason, not so much. LeBron averaged 29.7 points a game in this season. 8.9 assists. Which is a crazy number. Still there with 1.6 steals, so almost 2. And then 7 rebounds a game. Shot. Oh my God. He shot 50% from the field the whole year on 20 shots. And then again, 5 shots a game, shot 33% in a regular season. But like just could not make these threes in the postseason.
Yeah, I feel like his stats just started really creeping up there that last season before he went to Miami, and then obviously like took off to a new level then. But you could really see that he was just like truly carrying the team at that point, and that was kind of why things, fell apart.
Yeah, I felt like this was the most obvious because this was the year we didn't trade for Amari Stoudemire because we had JJ Hickson. And then we signed Shaq.
Yeah. And it felt like everyone was just like playing scared that he was going to go. It was just like fear of what was going to happen.
Yeah, he took off the shirt too, like super fast.
Oh yeah.
So
I remember sitting there watching that at my parents' house, like, no.
Yeah, I was like, he's gone, dog. He's gone. He's so gone. He's done. He's done. All right, 32 points a game, 2.4 blocks in the first series against the Chicago Bulls. 8 assists, 9 rebounds, so a close to triple-double, shot 56% from the field on 19.4 shots. 3.5 attempts, 54% from 3 on 5 attempts.
Wow. Look at him.
Look, what? He made 6 threes in a game in this series.
Wow.
6 of 9.
That's kind of crazy because I feel like right around then had to be the peak of his like can't shoot threes narrative. So that's really interesting. So
I'm thinking like, okay, yeah. Ooh, these aren't going to be pretty 3-point numbers for LeBron.
Oh.
I think this 3-point success he had in Chicago led to a disaster.
Well, then that answers the question I just had.
Because he shot 26% from 3 in this series. 26.8 points a game, 2.2 steals, 7 assists, a block, and then 44% from the field as well here. The reason it's abysmal is from game 2 to 3, 4, 5. From game 2 to 5, so 4 games straight. LeBron shot 16 threes and made 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a fair argument then, I guess, for the people that are like, he can't do this in the postseason.
Yeah. He shot 12% in those 4 games. But then he came back with the 2 for 4 performance. He started the series off with the 3 for 6. So you know what I felt like happened if we went back in the time machine and relived this? It was, oh man, LeBron smacking threes. And then we were like, let's see if he does it versus the Celtics. And they played the Celtics, and all of a sudden, those threes were going in the first game, and then he went and made two of them within the next four. So I think that's how that perception got built. The most talked about game in this series is what, game 5? I think that's the one everybody complains about. And this was a bad game. 15 points, game 5, which is, that's not LeBron like at all.
No.
7 assists, a steal, still got that steal, and 6 rebounds in this game. Shot 21% from the field, and then 0% from 3.
I really hated that Celtics team at the time too. Like Paul Pierce still has beef with LeBron for like that period of time, I feel like.
Yeah, Paul Pierce has built off his whole belief in LeBron off like 2 games. Not even 2 games, just this one game against Boston. Like he pretty much
is so committed to the bit.
Him.
I almost respect how committed he is to the bit of like disrespecting LeBron. Like still now he'll be like, I'm not sure if I have him in like my top 5 of all time. It's like I just can't even listen to it.
Yeah, so game 5, most infamous game, and then he lost game 7. This is kind of a forgotten game. He had 27 points in it. Turned the ball over a lot, 9 turnovers in this game. Oof. And 10 assists. Oh my God, 20 rebounds. He triple-doubled. He triple-doubled.
20 rebounds?
19 rebounds. Real? Yeah, 19 rebounds. 16 of them defensive, 3 of them offensive. The 3 offensive rebounds, super impressive.
Okay.
It was 50% from 3 on 4 attempts, and then 38% from the field. It's a weird game because it's not a bad game, but nobody remembers it. Yeah. Like nobody remembers this game 6 from LeBron. So he tried. I guess the team must have stunk around him because they lost by 9 points and he had 19 rebounds. Where do we put 2010? Do we put it right there with 2019? 2009? Or does it go below?
I feel like those are similar seasons. It's hard to separate like regular season and playoffs sometimes because obviously they're connected, but I think he was kind of just a similar player in those 2 years at that point.
Mm-hmm. All right, now we go to the Miami years of LeBron James, which...
This is a dark time for me. I like the first year in Miami, I did not watch that much of like that team because I was so hurt. Like I was legitimately hurt that I really didn't watch a ton of it.
LeBron averaged 54% for the field during his time in Miami.
Crazy. And he had one year where he averaged over 40% from 3. So
yeah, it was a good year LeBron was good in these years. Now the first year, like the point per game went down, right? Because the whole run there, he averaged about 26 points, which is obvious he's sharing the load with Dwayne Wade. This first Heat year, 26.7 points a game. How many rebounds? 7 rebounds, 7 assists. So like just the total load, like even his minutes went down to 38 here. 18 shots. He was taking almost 23 shots in Cleveland. So, but his efficiency was up. And then his 3-point shooting, 33%, about the same stuff he was doing in Cleveland. Another infamous, like these 2 years built up pretty much all of Skip Bayless's career. The reaction of these 2 years is basically what we got Skip Bayless. Like we got Skip Bayless out of these 2 years. And we also had a weird period where people from Cleveland were cheering for the Mavs. First round of this playoff the playoffs this year. Let me get it to pop up. The first round of the playoffs this year, they played the Philadelphia 76ers, but you didn't know they made the playoffs in 2010. People at home, because I didn't know. Like, this had to be the Andre Iguodala 76ers, right?
I always it's funny because I just think of him in such a Warriors way for all of his years there. I always kind of forget about his earlier career, but it was probably at that time.
Yeah. He played for the Nuggets too at some time. So they won this series in 5 games. I can't get the averages to pop up, but He was pretty good in this series. Trust me
Yeah.
at home. He had 2 triple doubles.
Right.
Well, he had
He
3
was
double
fine.
doubles. Yeah, he was pretty good in this series. And then they played Boston in the second round. So everybody was watching this because, oh man, LeBron, you saw what happened against Boston.
Again.
Played significantly better versus Boston. Had a game where he went 5 of 7 from 3. And that was the closing game against Boston. Also had 33 points. Was very efficient from the field. Yeah. Yeah. This is starting to look like the LeBron we all know.
Yep.
And then Chicago was this Derrick Rose Chicago? Had to be. No way they get to
Yeah.
the Eastern Conference Finals without him.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
When
this is
else
the
were
year
they
Derrick
good?
Rose won the MVP. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So Derrick Rose, and he was pretty good in this one. The most standout game, 35-point performance in game 5. No, game 4, because the series only went 5 games. So they were rolling through the playoffs, right? Beat my
No.
Boston in 6. And then the Dallas Mavericks, I think 2 games stand out. Well, 3 games. My goodness, he had a awful. Like the 2011 finals is not underrated. Like, because a lot of LeBron things, you're like, the perception of what he did in the
Yeah, it
playoffs
was
is
bad.
no, he was legitimately trash in this series. Highest point total for LeBron in this series that went 6 games was 24. He had 20 points in game 2, 17 in game 3, 8 points in game 4, 17 again in game 5, and a 21 in a closing performance. Like LeBron usually puts up numbers in these closing
He puts
performances.
up like 40 plus in closing performances.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and they lost by 10. I mean, just completely disappeared. He had that 8-point game after they went up 2-1 in this series.
Wow.
In 45 minutes. I mean, he had a double technically in like game 5. He had like 10 assists. No, triple double, my bad. And 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 17 points. But like that's like a Russell Westbrook triple double. It's not a LeBron James triple double. So yeah, this is a bad series by LeBron. Averaged 17.8 points, which is worse than his rookie year. 6 assists, 7 rebounds, and shot 47% on the field on only 15 shots, which is really low. And 32% from 3, which was pretty good for 5 shots. But yeah, this was obviously LeBron's probably lowest moment, but the season was pretty good. I'm gonna throw this one in great. Like the first Miami year was just great.
Yeah, it was definitely the worst of his Miami years. I think, obviously, like you mentioned, his efficiency went up, but he wasn't getting as much like production in general, just learning how to play with star players, which he hadn't had to do. So yeah, definitely would put it probably at great.
And he averaged 24 points in the playoffs, only 24 points in the playoffs this year, which is, I mean, like the standard tie, but it's not really what you would expect from a LeBron James postseason. Well, guess what? We don't have to worry about that for this next year because if you thought LeBron was just about to go away after that, oh no, that didn't happen. All right, so LeBron, 27 points this year. When did he win his next MVP? Was it this year?
It was 12 and 13. 12 and 13. Yeah, the next 2.
So LeBron had 27 points in this year, 2 steals, 6 assists, 8 rebounds, which is insane. And shot 53% from the field and 36% from 3. Let's go to the playoffs. This was a pretty legendary playoff by LeBron James. I think we can all say we all know where this one's going in the category, right?
Yeah.
Played the Knicks in the opening round, averaged 28, 5 rebounds, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and shot 47. So he didn't really, it's the first round LeBron. LeBron don't really like start going until these series get serious. Now, a very interesting 7-game series here versus Indy, right? Was that a 7 or 6? Yeah, 30 points a game, shot 50% from the field, only 16 from 3 on 3 attempts. So he wasn't, he had some spurts of just horrible 3-point shooting. Another one where he just missed 7 threes in a row. Didn't make a game from this. Played Boston. This was what, 7-game series? Yeah, this is a 7-game series against Boston. Averaged 33.6 points in this series. 29% from 3 on 4 attempts, and 52.7% from 3 from the field on 24 shots. So he just went into full Bron mode in this series. And something to note here, we all know the legendary 45-point performance from LeBron James in game 6. No, was that game 6? Yeah, game 6. Also put up a triple-double in the last, oh my goodness. Okay. In the last, 3 games of this series, LeBron James put up a triple-double in each of those 3 games. A 30-point triple-double. Yeah, and this was pretty impressive. 15 rebounds, 13 rebounds, 12 rebounds. LeBron put up some numbers here. So,
yeah.
Yeah, and then OKC
it's
just
crazy
did not
too,
stand
the
a
number
chance.
of shots he started taking in the playoffs compared to the regular season. Like he was still kind of, I feel like during the regular season figuring things out, and then was like, okay, I have to take control of this team, even though I know this is Dwayne Wade's team, this is his city, but I got to take over.
Yeah, it was LeBron's team by then. I mean, he had won his 2nd MVP with them. It's funny how we have these, like the MVP seasons, like one of them, we're like, yeah, that was LeBron's best.
Yeah.
Won the championship this year with OKC, against OKC. It's pretty good in this series. Regular LeBron numbers, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 29 points on like 47% shooting. So pretty good there. 18% in 3. So I wonder like when's the first like good LeBron 3-point shooting playoff like run like is. But he had these weird spurts where he was just kind of an inconsistent shooter. I guess it's the best way you could categorize it early in his career.
Right.
2012, that's probably going in LeGoat.
I think so. Yeah. And that was his first title, right?
Yes, that was his first championship.
So I think, getting there for sure, I think qualifies that as a LeGoat season.
All right. So now we go to his third year in Miami, my bad. Third year in Miami, 26.8 points, 6 rebounds. Well, no, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Yeah, he got the ball after this one. 56% from the 3-point.
Yeah,
not 56.
That was his 40% from 3 one. That's crazy.
40% from 3, 56% from the field. I believe this is the Heat streak year.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, this because the Cavs were extra terrible and we almost broke the Heat streak that year. Like, Tristan Thompson got drafted in the 2011 draft, right? So he was already on the team. And I remember we were down to I think Kyrie was out. Kyrie used to miss, he always misses a ton of games, but Kyrie was out and we were down to what ended up becoming the Warriors bench, right? Sean Livingston, Mo Spates, all of those guys, like Wayne Ellington, and they almost beat LeBron that year. And then LeBron just he reached back behind the backboard and dunked it, and that was it. They went on a 20-0 run in that one. But yeah, this was this year or the year. No, this is the Heat streak. Yeah, they had a stretch from February 3rd to March 25th where they didn't lose a game.
Wow.
Yeah, LeBron went 57% from the field during that time. 37% from 3-point on just 3 shots. So yeah, it was a crazy run here. And this is when we start the run of LeBron James just sweeping guys in the playoffs. So sweep with the Milwaukee Bucks here. He didn't really do much. but didn't really have to. It's Miami versus the Milwaukee Bucks here. And then had a nice series with the Chicago Bulls. I believe this one went 7. This one went 5. 23 points. Didn't really have to do much in that series. And then you get into some of the classic series that he has. This is the first Paul George back and forth, right? 29 points in this series, including a 32-point game 7, which is on the lower end of what LeBron usually does in game 7s. 5 assists, 7 rebounds, and shot 44% from 3 on 5 attempts, like legitimately shot 44% from 3. And then a 51% from the field on 20. So he was pretty good in this series, played 43 minutes a game. This is when Miami was like, yeah, we're good, but LeBron's got to be everything like he was in Cleveland. We just got to up the role players near him. And in the 6-game series versus the San Antonio Spurs, the numbers aren't the greatest for him here, actually. He only averaged 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. Only did that. And then 44% from the field and 35% from 3. This is the first good LeBron shooting NBA Finals.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
35% from 3 on 5 shots. So it took till 2013 for him to get a good 3-point shooting performance in the playoffs consistently, which, I mean, that should have told us how scary the next years would be for him. Won the finals that year. Beat the baby Kawhi Spurs, and in a closeout game in the NBA Finals, I believe this was game 7, 37 points and 12 rebounds, 4 assists. That's more of a game 7 performance for LeBron James, right? Like 37. It's a difference that 3 points make there. So yeah, this is a pretty good year for LeBron. It's probably another GOAT category.
Yeah.
LeBron
I think
season.
winning the finals, MVP again, gotta be. When you win MVP, like at the peak of his powers like that, got to be a LeGoat year.
And then also he beat like a really good team. Like nobody really thought that the Thunder were ready when he beat them.
True.
But this is much different, right? You beat a true tried and tested contender here. 2014, LeBron's last year in Miami, 27 points a game, 7 assists, and 6 assists, 7 rebounds. Also have to remember Dwayne Wade was pretty significantly aged from 2012 on. So like you're noticing these numbers go up is because LeBron is basically having to do what he had to do in Cleveland with better role players around him. But 56% from the field again. Those 2 years have to be his highest in his career. Okay, he never shot as good from the field as that. He also shot less, so 17 and 17, which is lower than he's really been ever. So he was relied upon less. But oh my goodness, the efficiency there is insane. We know in the playoffs here, he played pretty good in the playoffs, but went to a game 7 with the Spurs and then lost that to the baby Kawhi Spurs. Where do you put this in GOAT? Where do you put this in GOAT?
Yeah, because I feel like when you don't get it done, the conversation started happening again of like, what's LeBron going to do now? I don't know if this is like a peak season for him. So I would say GOAT.
All right, then his I'm coming home year in Cleveland. It's funny to think we thought he might have been a little old when he came back at 30.
He's played a whole nother decade.
we were like, yeah, LeBron's going to just play out the last few years of his career in Cleveland. So you might get a couple of good years from him. Yeah, he's still playing. He's almost 40.
Yeah. He's still like a top 20 player in the NBA. Like it's fine.
This time, and I think the points per game numbers, you have to remember Kyrie was here and Kyrie scored a lot for the Cavs too. So 25 points a game, 48%. It's funny. I'm like, oh, that's not good. Like it's not 48% from the field. 48% from the field on 18 and a half shots, shot 35% from 3 on 5. And then in the playoffs this year, I mean, like, he had to feel cursed his first year in Cleveland because he's like, I finally come back. I finally have teammates. I
We
finally
all
do this
did.
thing, and then somehow he ends up playing the NBA Finals by himself. But
This is the reason that Cleveland fans still boo Kelly Olynyk when he comes to Cleveland, is because that season was so cursed because of his injuring of Kevin Love.
was that game one,
I think
or is
so.
it game? Yeah,
It
yeah,
was early. It was early for sure.
yeah. Because he only had to score 20 points. They beat Boston by like 13. Um,
Yeah. Brutal.
very different Boston team too. 27 points in that Boston series. This Chicago series was interesting. I believe that one almost like that could have went either way, right? That Chicago series, which it's always trouble when you're the team that plays LeBron after he goes 7 in the East. Like if he goes 7 in the first round, you don't want to be the team that plays him afterwards because like usually he's done fucking around like for the rest
Yeah,
of the
he's like, all right,
season.
get it together.
Yeah. Yeah, because what he went 7 here, no, 6 here with Chicago, and I remember there were like a couple buzzer beaters in this game. There was a 38-point performance, a 15-point performance in the closeout game against Chicago, which is low for LeBron James. And then he played the Atlanta Hawks. And the Atlanta Hawks, this is Jeff Teague, 60-win Atlanta Hawks. This didn't go well for the Atlanta Hawks that year. This went horribly for them. LeBron had 30 a game, 11 assists, 9. Oh, no, my bad. 9 assists, 11 rebounds in this series,
Wow.
and shot 43% from the field. And then this Warriors series, which is super interesting because Andre Iguodala got the MVP for shutting down LeBron James.
Yeah.
Ab, would you like to know how many points LeBron James averaged in this series? Remember, they
God.
gave a man the MVP for shutting him down in this series.
I mean, it's got to be like still like 35 or something crazy.
35.8.
I was so close.
35.8. 13
I promise
rebounds,
I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking.
35.8. 13 rebounds, 8 assists.
Yeah. I mean,
But he
almost
only shot
triple-double.
39% from the field, right? Like, oh man, he got shut down. By the way, 7 threes a game in this series.
Yeah.
31%.
Unreal.
They gave
It's crazy they gave him MVP for that, like in reflection. It was kind of crazy at the time too, but it also shows how like not well the other stars on the Warriors played in that series. Like no one, like Steph, Clay, Draymond, they didn't take over like they were supposed to. So it was that was a weird year in
I
general.
think he got that MVP off of one game where like the Cavs had LeBron had 20 points. But then LeBron finished the series with 40 and 32. Like
Crazy.
yeah,
I'm still convinced if the Cavs were fully healthy that year, they were winning. Like
no, they were winning that series.
I really think they were. Oh,
yeah,
that was
because they would have at least won Game 6, and then they would have won Game 7.
yeah.
LeBron to Game 7. I'll bet against it when it happens. But this is a GOAT year.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously we've got the next couple of years. I feel like this wasn't as good as these next few ones in terms of
It was a
peak
nice appetizer to the return of
was.
LeBron in Cleveland.
It was,
But it
especially
left
for what he
enough.
was about to do.
Yeah, because it left some room for things to be achieved. This next year, again, like the point numbers aren't going to be great. 25 points a game, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. And then he shot
These were the years
52% from the field.
I think LeBron learned in these years, like how not important the regular season was. So I feel like his regular season numbers like start to take a little decline, but it doesn't really like show much because he knows as soon as the playoffs happen, that's when he needs to turn things on. So I think that probably is reflected in those
Well, also,
not as great.
he was 31. Like,
Right.
you know,
And
he
had Kyrie Irving, like one of the greatest shooters, in the game. So it was a little
yeah,
different.
It wasn't all on him, and he can age with this team. They swept Detroit in a close sweep. I remember them bragging about that. The Atlanta Hawks were pretty much done 4-5, And then this is the year that the Toronto
I
Raptors
was gonna
made
say
some
Toronto's got
noise.
to be back in here now.
This is, yeah, Toronto. This is the year where Toronto thought they had. This is before they knew, right? This is before they knew what they, because they went 6 games and they didn't expect to go six. And Majai Uri got coach of the year, and they were like, let's go Raptor. They were super excited, not knowing that LeBron would kill all of this in 2 years. Like, literally, he just, this team, the Toronto Raptors team that went six here, they were created off of the enthusiasm off of going 6 games against LeBron James this year. Like, that's what created the Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan Raptors,
Yeah.
and bolted them to go 100% into this rebuild with them. It died 2 years later because of LeBron. Like, they got traded. He dismantled them. I think. Have you seen the Paul George podcast where it's him and DeMar DeRozan, and they're like, "Yeah, nah, don't feel that bad, dog. He got us out of there
Oh
too."
yeah.
Like,
Yes. I remember seeing that clip. It went like super viral. That was funny.
yeah,
Yeah, that he really did something to in those couple of years there to those
because I think the
teams.
next year, 2017, he dismantles the Paul George Pacers. Like, they just don't
Yeah.
exist after that.
Yes.
So, yeah, oh my God, he shot 56%. My bad. In this series, LeBron shot 62% from the field,
Wow. So
33% from
dominant.
three, 26 points. And he didn't really even have to. 2 steals, a block, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Like, he took it easy on the Toronto Raptors. He could have went worse on them. He took it easy. He let them put up a good fight. And then, I mean, I don't even need to explain what happened in this NBA Finals. We know 30 points a game average in this NBA Finals, shot 51% from the field, 40% on 5 attempts from LeBron James from 3-point, and then finished the
Triple double.
series off with 41, 41, and then a triple double. Well, and then a 27-point performance in game 7. But we all know what the highlight in game 7 was.
Yeah.
It was a
Oh yeah.
LeBron play. It was a chase down block. This is
Yeah.
LeBron's best year. Like, everything
Yes.
kind of
It needs a
leads
new
up to
tier
2016.
above Legoat. We need to
Yeah.
create like something higher than Legoat.
Yeah, like everything we know about LeBron and how LeBron is talked about and how he's
Yeah.
viewed in these conversations, it all changed after this year. And if he retired after this year, nothing about how we talk about him changes that much.
Yeah. I think people who on either side of how they felt about LeBron, their minds were made up in that year. Like, if you think he is the player that we know him to be, you made that decision in 2016.
Yeah, like, it just, nothing mattered after 2016. Like,
Yeah.
nothing, like, there was like no overreaction to a LeBron bad playoff game. Like, it was
No.
just, it never mattered after that because we all
Yeah.
knew. We all
Yeah.
knew. And then 2018 hammered that home down pat
Yeah.
like crazy.
Arguably, like I know we haven't gotten to 2018 yet, but arguably, like, he was better at that playoffs than ever before. He just didn't have the same assets around him.
So he's 32 in 2017, 26 points a game on 54% shooting. And it's felt like a down year for LeBron living through it, right? Like 2016, 17, we're like, yeah, the Cavs are really good, but they got the KD Warriors on the
I know.
other
I feel
half
like we
of
were
this,
just
right?
angry at that point that they went and got Kevin Durant, and it was like, how
Yeah.
are we going to do this?
8 assists. Oh, no. 8.6, 8.7 assists, 8.6 rebounds a game. He was really good this year. 2017, I believe this is the year they dismantled the Pacers in the playoffs. Just completely got him out of there. Yeah, in the first round, swept the Pacers, got him out of there. They were done after this. Put up 32, 25, 41, 33, which had nothing on his Toronto series that he had next, which they really should have known. So Toronto, they come into this series, and this is the funniest one. They come into this series probably excited. Like, oh man, we pushed LeBron to the limit last year. This is we're gonna take them head on. Well, LeBron averaged 36 in this series. He had 35 points in game 1, 39 in game 2, 35 and 35 in game 3 and 4. Shot 57% from the field and took 7 threes and went 48%.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah, Toronto gotta hate him, dog.
That's why they were LeBronto, not Toronto.
Yeah. And then they played Boston. I always forget they played Boston again. Like in
Yeah,
Cleveland.
I guess I kind of do forget about that too, because it was, I guess, a new iteration of Boston that was kind of, and I mean, that's where Kyrie ended up going to because he wanted to, you know, go join somewhere else that he could take lead at. And it was that team.
Yeah, like I always forget who was on this Boston. This was the Avery Bradley, Jaylen Brown, J. Cole, like Al Horford. There was still no Jason Tatum yet. Like he hadn't
Nope.
been
Yeah, not
drafted.
yet.
So like the best player like wasn't on this core. Tyler Zeller was on this team. Like, it's such a weird Celtics team to
Yeah.
get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Um, but LeBron went 38 30. And this is to my point about how nobody cared about any bad LeBron performances after this. 11 points in game three. Played
Wow.
45 minutes, 11 points in game three. Nobody ever talks about this game. Nobody cares because for all intents and purposes, LeBron's career ended in 2016 for
Yeah.
most people. Like most people just stopped caring about what happened to LeBron after this
Yeah.
year,
And it
after
was still like he had
2016.
been to the finals for like what, like 7 years in a row at that point. It was like, it's fine. He's gonna go to the finals again. So like no one
Everybody
cares.
had just assumed, yeah, he gonna come back. He gonna
Yeah.
come back
It's
and get points.
fine.
And then he got 34 and 35 the next night and then they beat Boston. But
Yeah.
nobody cared about that 11-point game. And then Golden State, unfortunately, 5-game series. None of these games were really that close, except for none of these games were that close. I mean, there was one that was like a 5-point loss. 30, look, he tried like hell. 33.6 points a game in this series. Shot 56% from the field. Shot 38 on 6 3-point attempts. 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 33 points.
Wow. In
Lost
that
in
series,
5
actually,
games.
that year I went to the one game that we won in that series in Cleveland. I was present for that, and that was that was the only one we got.
That was rough too because they was already down 0-3.
Yep. But I was like, all right, because I mean we had just come back 3-1 the year before, so
Oh,
I'm
you're
like,
gonna.
all right, now we gotta do it again. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh man,
Yeah,
man, that was such a series. Where
it
did
was
we
just
put
like
this
there was nothing you
2017
could do.
season?
Kevin Durant was there. There was literally nothing you could do.
Where do we put this 2017 season? Because it feels like this should be like a top tier season for
I
him.
know. It, that's why I said at the beginning too, it's hard to separate like results from like his actual performances because honestly, like 17 and 18 both like should also be LeGoat in a way, but like even though he didn't win it all in those years.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Well, I
gonna
don't
give
know.
him. I'm gonna give him LeGoat for this.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that finals performance was insane. Was
Yeah.
it? You 33-point triple double. That goes in LeGoat.
Yeah.
So what we're basically going to find out is that there are 6 years where LeBron should have won a ring if he had a better team around him. Like,
Yep.
or if like the most insane team of all time did not just form around him.
Right.
Which prime Kevin Durant on that team is just silly. All right. So last year in Cleveland, 27.5 points. The shots went up this year as well. Field goal attempts were.
Well, this is when
from
Kyrie left, right? Kyrie was gone this year.
Yes.
So I think that changed
Yes.
things a little.
19 shots on 54% shooting, and then 5 threes a game at 36. But this is when LeBron was like, okay, he's a legitimately good 3-point shooter. Um, the playoff run for this season is going to be hilarious.
No, every time I read his stats in the playoffs from this year, it like breaks my brain. I don't understand how he tried to carry this team the way he did in every series.
So they went 7 with the Pacers.
Yep.
No fault of LeBron. 34.4 points, 7 assists, 10 rebounds on 55% shooting. Oh my God. Old LeBron is so
crazy.
much better than young LeBron. It's nuts.
So much better.
It's good.
That was it.
Gracious.
That series was so stressful too. I'm like, if this team ruins this for him, I swear to God, I was So annoyed.
Yeah, at three 40-point performances in this series.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Crazy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, man. Like, I feel like we'd be overrating Heat LeBron because like Heat LeBron was not doing this.
I know.
Um,
In comparison, there's
yeah,
the
he
Cavs
was
LeBron
so
is way
much better
better.
that second run with the
So
Cavs.
much better.
Like, old Bron was crazy. All right, 34 points in this next series against Toronto. 34 points in a sweep, 11 assists, 8 rebounds, shot only 16% from three. So, you know, they got him there. They got him there on,
That
on
really
4.5 shots.
that follows the pattern of what you were saying about you don't want to be the team to play LeBron after he goes to 7 in a series.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah, because he
perfect
shot
example.
55% from the field, 34 points, and then 43 points. He had another 40 ball in him, a 38 ball in him. And then he had the famous floating. He had some famous game winners in this run too. Like the three, was it what did he have in Indy? Was 3 to win that game? It was like the last game too.
I'm trying to remember that one.
Yeah, it was a 3 and he jumped on the scorer's table. It was in home.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember the jumping on the scorers table one. Yep.
And then the Toronto, that was game 3 where he just floated the ball.
Yeah.
like,
This
like, oh,
this playoffs was perfect for those of us who wanted to let people know LeBron is in fact clutch. For those who disagreed with it, it was like, all right, examples. There you go.
went insane in his Boston series. 33.6 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists,
Wow.
and shot 40% from 3 on 6 attempts, 52% from the field. And this was a Jason Tatum, Kyrie-less Boston team.
Yep. Kyrie was hurt,
Unfortunately,
right? Yeah.
yeah, Kyrie was hurt for pretty much that whole playoff run. Had three
Yep.
40-point performances in this series as well. Golden State averaged
That's so
34
silly.
points a game, 10 assists, 8 rebounds in a sweep on 52% shooting, and then 4 threes for 33% shooting there. Obviously, the highlight here is the J.R. Smith 51-point game where LeBron got 51 points and J.R. Smith forgot. So 2018, this is
When
my favorite LeBron year, like personally.
no, that's
So
what
I put it in the GOAT.
when I agree. Whenever I'm arguing like LeBron years, I feel like as much as like 2016 was great from like a team perspective, the LeBron version of LeBron, like I think 2018 might have been the best version of him as a player.
All right. And then for these Laker years, we don't really have to give the same amount of context because he's recently
Yeah.
27 points in his first year with the Lakers, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, played only 55 games. Was this the
Yeah, that
injury
was
year or was
yeah, he was injured for like the last like 2 months or something. Like it was towards the end of the
Oh,
season.
this is when they still had Lonzo Ball. Yeah, yeah. This
Yeah.
was a very 33% from 3, 51% from the field. This is like an all-time great year. It's like casually like an all-time great year. Yeah, we put that in all-time great. 2020, this is the weird pandemic year. He also won a ring in this
Won a
season.
ring.
Probably his least memorable ring, outside of the Golden State one. And
Right.
probably his least memorable season in which he won a ring. Right? Like I think we remember 2012, 2013, 2016 very well. We don't really remember much from this 2020 season because we all forgot. 25 points, 10 assists, and then 8 rebounds. And he did that on 49% shooting. Oof, man, he's really losing his touch. He's getting below 50% shooting from the field. And then 34% from 3 on 6 attempts. He won the championship. Where do we put this season?
It's so hard to judge that season, I think, because of the COVID of it all, stopping, having to restart in the bubble. But he did win a ring. I
I put
don't
it in
know. I
GOAT.
mean, I was gonna say the ring like makes me think it has to be at least GOAT, but I don't think it's as like peak LeBron of a performance himself as the other ones we put in LeGoat.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like we remember more from 2018, 2017
Yeah.
than that season.
Yeah.
All right. All right. 2021 for LeBron James. is 25 points a game. By the way, he's 36 at this point.
That's
51%,
crazy.
51% for the field on 18 shots. And from three, he was 36% from 6.5 shots. It's a pretty good year. I think all-time great.
Yeah, he only played in what is it, 45 games that season?
Yeah, he was also
So
injured
dealing
this year
with
as
some
well.
injury issues as well. Yeah. I mean, that's like obviously one of the shorter seasons he's had. So I don't know, either or maybe great, all-time great. I don't know. He
This is
did
his
well
best
when he was out
great
there, but
season.
yeah.
This is his best great season. All right, and in 2022 is the last season we'll be ranking today. 30 points a game at 37 years old. 30 points a game. His efficiency, it could not be on par, right? On what was his efficiency? 22 shots on 52%. Is that right? Does that say 22 shots
Yeah, I mean,
on
I guess his efficiency,
52%?
that's a crazy efficiency right there for that many
That's just,
shots. That's one of the higher shot totals he's taken in his career.
yeah, he shot 36% from three on 8 shots that year.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that also has to do like the upping the threes had to do with age in a lot of ways. Like he's not he doesn't want to drive to the hoop and get hacked. He's just going to stand out there and try to take a shot.
My God. What did they do in the playoffs this year? Hold on, I need context for this season. What
Is that
happened?
the no, which year did they no, maybe 21 was when they beat the Warriors in the play-in. And then I think that
They
was
didn't make the
21. Okay.
playoffs this year.
Yeah. Wow.
Goodness. Well, that's a wasted LeBron year. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny too looking at the Los Angeles years because like in 2018, his last year in Cleveland, he played 82 games. He played in every single game that season. It drops once he gets to LA. Even, I feel like he just started resting more. It was like he is old. He cannot keep playing all these games. Obviously, there were injury
Definitely
issues, but
part-time
like,
Bron. Like
yeah, it
definitely
was
got
like,
part-time
okay,
Bron.
we can't do 82 games this season. That was crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Because what he went from averaging before that, he went from averaging. So before that, he played 82 games, and then he averaged around 70. Well, no, more than 70, about like 75 games a season. And then after that, it's like you're lucky if you get 60 out of them.
Yeah, it's like mostly mid 50s.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
so
it makes sense. Like you said, he's older and he just gets more beat up at that point. So,
and he has like a lot of rest days too. But that is the
yes.
LeBron tier list. I want to thank Ab for coming on and doing this with me. Hope you guys enjoy this video. It's a 90-minute extravaganza. Y'all have fun with it. But it's a nice little glance through LeBron's career. This is the definitive LeBron James tier list. Anything to say before we head out, Gab?
I don't think so. I guess just check out my podcast if you don't listen to it already. Just a Girl from Cleveland, anywhere you listen, also on YouTube. So that's all.
All right, y'all. Have your good day. Have an even better night. Peace.